All right, welcome to episode number 25 of the Let's Discuss Gaming podcast. I am your host, Triple J. Joining me is my co-host, Dr. Games 101.
We made it, the big 2-5 episode. Whoop whoop.
Yep.
Hello, people.
And I think we're 2 episodes away from where we started last year.
Yes, a year. Time flies, right?
Because episode 26 will be July 31st, and then episode 27 will be August 14th. And I remember we started like August 12th or something.
Definitely.
So, yeah, so we're almost at the 1 year mark.
All right. Big
And
accomplishment.
we got some things to cover today. You want to jump into it?
About which topic? The Guardians of the Galaxy first?
No, let's start with the topic that we didn't cover last time about the Dead Space remake.
Oh yeah, I heard about that news sometime earlier this week or last week.
I heard about this like right after we did the podcast 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
So Dead Space remake, the Dead Space reboot. How do you feel about the Dead Space series?
Well, I do have all 3 Dead Spaces based on Xbox Games with Gold over the years. I played the first.
Okay.
I played the first Dead Space for about 30 minutes. It's not so bad. You know, it has a good atmosphere and all. You know, crazy in the beginning. I didn't play Dead Space 2, but I played Dead Space 3, and I heard that was the worst of the series because it was geared towards the mainstream audience.
Yeah, Dead Space 3. What people, from what I understand, people had a problem with Dead Space 3 because instead of being like survival horror, they were going for like action.
Oh yeah.
And that's what made people upset with it, kind of like Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6.
Mm-hmm.
But they're remaking Dead Space. I don't know if this is going to lead to a remake of the trilogy. It could be. I mean, that's what they did with Mass Effect.
They should wait. They should wait until the 2023 for the 15th anniversary of Mass Effect. Not Mass Effect, 15th anniversary of Dead Space. Sorry.
Well, so I just wonder if they're going to go the survival horror route that everyone wants, or if they're going to go the action route that basically killed the series, or at least made the series
mundane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't like Dead Space 3, but it's alright.
Okay, well, I played all 3 Dead Spaces, not to completion. 2 and 3 I've spent plenty of hours in. The first one I didn't get too far in, I only played for like a half hour.
Just like me, okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, I only have 2 and 3, thanks to Games with Gold. But the thing is, I'm actually stuck on those games, so I don't play them anymore.
Right.
You know, I just hope that, like, if they do remake, I don't know if there's any parts of Dead Space where I got stuck. Like, Dead Space 2, I was at one part where there was, like, just too many enemies, you know, like, I tried staying up against different walls, and all of a sudden an enemy would come through that wall, what I thought was a wall, but it's a door. So
okay.
I tried to stay here, and it's just like, I'm in this one hallway where there's too many enemies. I only got 1 health pack, and it's just like, I've tried to get, like, out of that room and, like, progress, and just, like, no matter where I stand, I have no idea what I'm supposed to, you know, it's just too many enemies.
That many, huh?
Yeah, there's like these giant bugs, and it's like, but they take like 6-8 bullets to kill
each.
Yeah.
Why not use that? If it's Dead Space 3 style of gameplay, why not use that that needle gun, the one that you press down on the D-pad, and you use that gun to utilize for to pin down your monsters. You might have to you say it for some other time in Dead Space 3 if you refer to that game specifically.
Well, this was Dead Space 2, so
Okay, so I can't help you on that matter.
yeah. And Dead Space 3, I tried playing it, even though most people don't like it. When I'm stuck, it's like when you go at, like when you leave your spaceship and you gotta find like, and you gotta like fly in space to this other spaceship, and I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing there.
Don't they
So
have that guidance, direction, um, path
that does,
pathway?
that didn't help.
Really?
Yeah, I know all about that, and it's still like I know where I'm supposed to go. It's I don't know what I'm supposed to do once I get there.
You might have to activate some switches, move the mechanical machinery, whatever it's called, and then operate the elevator. I bet something like that. It's always something like that where you just get stuck on.
Yeah, I'm have a feeling I'm supposed to get in the spaceship because you've only got a limited amount of oxygen since you're in space.
Mm-hmm.
But like even with the extra oxygen packs, I couldn't figure out what I was supposed to do. I know at the like my place and everything, but it's like once I get to that spaceship, you know.
Right.
So anyway, that's our Dead Space troubles.
Yes.
Yeah. So would you be interested in Dead Space remake, or do you think they should just leave it alone?
They should wait until the 15th anniversary at least. Give it a couple more years. And if not the 15th anniversary, then at least the 20th anniversary, they have to do a trilogy remake. Now, that would be interesting to have by 2028, you know. But who else really want to wait another 6, 7, 8 years for that? You know, literally. But, you know. But for me, right now, it's good enough time because by the time I finish all the other games, it'll be like until 2025 at the earliest from either play Argamy or Dead Space 1, 2, and 3, or games like Tomb Raider Underworld and shit like that, you know. I'll still have play, and also PS1 games like Tomb Raider 1 through 5. So far, I'm to Tomb Raider 2, and I'm trying to beat that game. I'm up to a hard part in that game.
You know, it'll be 2055. You still wouldn't have finished all your games.
Tell me about it. As you get older, to those kids out there, as you get older, you got more responsibilities, and you're lucky to have enough time to play all the games you buy. So,
Right.
so I buy games
So,
almost every month. Like I'll buy like Call of Duty World at War for Xbox One because I have it optimized for the Xbox One, and I'll buy L.A. Noire, Bendy, Arkham, the Arkham sub-series, whereas for Arkham Asylum and Arkham City.
yeah.
So I got those games over the last several months. I still haven't opened up Bendy yet. I still haven't played much of the Arkham as much. So
Yeah. Too bad. I'd like to see where you're up to in Arkham.
pretty much I'm up to the part where the Joker makes you go up against this big tough buff guy that's like you have to use electricity on to get rid of him. It's still the beginning of the game still. I got plenty of time to play more of it. But I might do a recording of it for my sample gameplay too, sometime next month, hopefully by the earliest.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, it's just so weird because the games that you're playing, I've already finished. It's like Arkham, all the Arkham games except Arkham Knight, I finished, and I still have Batman Arkham Knight.
Oh yeah, her Arkham Knight has Scarecrow in it, right?
L.A. Noire, I finished that. To completion.
Hey, Triple J, if I may ask, does Arkham Knight has Scarecrow in it?
I think so. Yeah.
I heard that game was all right at first, but then the PC version kind of had problems.
Well, I can't vouch for the PC version, but yeah, I think the Scarecrow was actually in the introduction of Arkham Knight.
Okay. Well, I'll get to it eventually.
The only one that's not, that I don't think is in Arkham Knight is Joker, because the game picks up after you killed him in Arkham City.
Kill the Joker in Arkham City?
Joker's in Arkham Asylum in Arkham City, and you killed Joker.
And it's also a prequel after Arkham City, though. It's called Arkham something.
Arkham Origins, yeah.
Yeah, that's the prequel.
That's the prequel, yeah, because you're not dealing with. Well, thing is, you're familiar with the character Commissioner Gordon, right?
Yes, I am.
Commissioner Gordon is not Commissioner Gordon in Arkham Origins.
He's like the lieutenant.
In Arkham Origins, it's Captain Gordon. He didn't reach commissioning yet.
I thought it was lieutenant, but okay.
But at the end of Arkham Origins, which was the first game chronologically, if you want to look at timeline, at the end, Arkham Captain Gordon, they were looking for a new commissioner because Joker, masquerading as Black Mask, killed the former commissioner, and then they made Captain Gordon Commissioner Gordon.
Nice. Love it. All right.
I don't think you would like Arkham Origins though, because there's no like all the characters that we know from the Batman universe. They're not in Arkham Origins.
Not even Clayface? I'm sure Clayface in the Arkham games, especially Arkham Knight.
No, not even Clayface. The only one there is Joker.
Because Clayface, he's a newer enemy. If you think about it, he's only been around for 25 years. While Joker, the Riddler, Two-Face, the Penguin.
Oh, no, Clayface was in Lego Batman games.
Okay. Because, like I said, it's only been 25 years from Clayface.
On PS2, the first one had everybody that you could think of.
Which PS2 game?
Lego Batman, the first one.
Really? I think I already have it saved.
I actually remember all the villains. What happened is the Penguin, the Joker, and the Riddler are like all the masterminds, but each mastermind has 3 male villains and 1 female villain helping them out.
Right.
So like the Riddler had his own story, Joker had his own story, and Penguin had his own story. But you had to, you had to play the Riddler story first, then the Penguin story, then the Joker story.
Oh, okay. It's all Lego Batman, huh?
Yep.
I think I already have one of the Lego games saved as part of my Games with Gold. I could be wrong about that.
If it's the first Lego Batman, it's definitely worth playing.
Alright.
Actually, I can probably recite the villains, all the villains in Lego Batman. In the Riddler story, it's Clayface, it's Mr. Freeze, Two-Face, and Poison Ivy. In the Penguin story, it's Bane, it's Killer Croc, it's the Man-Bat, and then Catwoman. And
yeah,
then the
Killer
Joker
Croc
story,
and Bane. Killer Croc and Bane are like newer enemies as well, including Poison Ivy. Not Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn's a newer character of sorts.
Not really. It's because we grew up with the movies, and like some of these didn't
and the animated series. Don't forget the animated series.
Or we did grow up with the animated series too, but some of these people were exclusive to the comic books.
Okay.
And then the Joker had Scarecrow, the Killer Moth, the Mad Hatter, and Harley Quinn.
Oh, the Mad Hatter, I heard he's a very interesting boss in Arkham City.
Yeah, he's a villain that messes with your mind.
I'm sure you got like an army of like those cards plopped up in between their heads or the sleeves of their heads or whatever you want to call them. The mind control them, each of them.
Actually, I think it's bunny heads. Oh, hold on. I want to see if I can find a clip on YouTube because there is a scene from Arkham Origins that just cracks me up when you get to the med.
Arkham Origins?
Not Arkham Origins, Arkham City.
I'm about to say it's a prequel.
Yeah, Arkham City, and then but it's so funny. I don't know. Let me see. Batman, Arkham City. Let's see. Uh, oh, they got the Tea Party mission, which is the Mad Hatter story.
Oh yeah, that was a good episode of the animated series of the Mad Hatter. Like
Yeah.
did. Off with his head.
But also, I want to see if I can find the if I can find the introduction to the mission. I'm just scanning through the video now. Yeah, he messes with your mind and like, yeah, it's all giant buddy heads that you're around,
Mm-hmm.
and then you gotta fight thugs. And then it's okay. So I couldn't find the Mad Hatter song. Maybe that would be it.
Mad Hatter song. The hell?
Yes. Okay. I did find it on you. Wait a minute. Arkham Origins. It was Arkham City. Is this the right video? Hold on.
Perhaps we should hold off on that in the meantime and move on to the next topic. For
Okay.
the
I found it. I don't know why this is titled Arkham Origins. It was in Arkham City.
Okay.
Let me see if I can share it through Discord. Let's see, screen. Cancel.
I see something popping up on screen. I see you now. Okay.
Yeah, that's not what I meant to do. Can you still hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay. So let's see. Okay, they're not going. Oh, wait a minute. Screams. Nope. Okay, they're not going. My internet's not popping up on Discord, so I can't share it through Discord.
All right. So share some other time. I'll look at it
All right.
later.
All right. So
Yeah, I heard good things about the Mad Hatter being interested in Boston Home against.
yeah, So I mean, actually, don't you have a game for the Xbox through Games of Gold or Game Pass called Alice in Wonderland?
Oh, the Alice the Madness. I played
Yeah,
that.
The Madness Returns.
Yeah, I played that. I played that recorded last month or two, and it lasted for about an hour to record it. It was pretty good.
Yeah, and then you yeah, that's another game you haven't gotten back to.
Got so many games to play. I'm so focused on Apex Legends, Halo Master Chief Collection, Halo 4, because you know that by the end of this year, all old Halo Xbox 360 games will be shut down on its servers. So from
Really,
Halo,
I didn't even know about that.
yeah, they made a big announcement sometime earlier this year, say on the Waypoint, HaloWaypoint.com, and it says by December, Halo 3, Halo 4, Halo Reach. I'm not sure about Halo Wars, but definitely the games I mentioned earlier, those will be shut down from its public servers. So
Well, the servers are shut down. How's Halo the Master Chief Collection gonna work?
Well, I'm talking about the 360 version.
Oh, just the 360 versions. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I said. I could have sworn I said that. Yeah, so
yeah, well, I was thinking when you said Halo 3, I was like, well, wait a minute. What about the Xbox One?
no, that will still be running for a few more years to come because that's what they said back in 7 years ago. One of these articles, they're saying that by 2025, all Xbox One systems and updates and other features will still be updated up until that point. So after 2025, that's when they're going to stop updating the Xbox One, but not shut down, obviously. That's Xbox One altogether.
Yeah.
But for this year,
there's a difference between updates and being shut down.
something like that, pretty much, yeah. Because they did shut down Xbox original servers, obviously. So
I didn't even know those were up.
They were up until 2010, back 10 years
Oh
ago.
wow.
Yeah, it sucks. I can't play Halo 2 anymore back then. I bought Halo 2 in June of 2008, and I only had like about a year and a half, a year and a quarter, or 3/4 just to play Halo 2 online every day whenever I get a chance to working my full-time job and other jobs I had in the past too. So
Yeah, so, well, I mean, that's the thing with online gaming. It only lasts so long. But like I said, even if the Xbox 360 servers shut down, if the game is compatible on Xbox One, you'll probably still be able to play it.
of course.
And even once the servers get shut down, as long as like the full game is on the disc, we're not talking about like Tony Hawk 5 or something like Spiral, the Reignited Trilogy.
Crazy.
At least you'll still be able to play whatever is on the disc.
Yeah, that's crazy that they do with Spiral. That's fucked up right there.
Yeah, that's it. And I heard like load times on that were horrendous.
So it's like Crash Bandicoot Wrath of Cortex style, where it's like a minute and a half, 2 minutes of loading.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, so just at that point you might as well just try to find the Spiral game or get them on PlayStation Network because Sony said they're going to keep the PS3 servers up at least for now.
Yeah, for now.
Well, they didn't backtrack on the PSP, but they said PS Vita stores and PS3 stores digital will stay up.
Mm-hmm.
So if you like Spyro, if you like Crash Bandicoot, which I have the first 2 Crash Bandicoots on my PS3, get the games now. That way, when the PS3 store goes or the digital store goes down, you can play those games right off your PS3.
Okay.
The only problem is I haven't figured out how to save. Like when you try like the actual save thing, like I tried I have Medieval, the original, on my PS3. When I try to save, it ends up looking for a memory card. So it's like I can't save my progress, but I can save the game on my PSP because I transferred the PlayStation version to my PSP, and I can save on that, but I can't save on the PS3. It's like, what's going on here?
Does the PS3 has a memory card slot still?
They got slots where you can plug in. Like I have my PSP controller plugged in,
but not the memory card.
Like nothing a memory card would fit in.
Because PS3 has to be compatible with PS2. And in order to utilize the PS2 memory cards, they have to include the memory slots for all 3 or 2 PS systems.
Oh, not every PS3 was compatible with PS2 games. Mine's not.
Really? Because if I recall correctly, the advertisements or the features that my friend we looked up on back like 15 years ago, they said that it's backwards compatible. It's with PS1, 2, and 3. There'll be memory cards with them. You can play games like Metal Gear Solid 4, or Psychonauts, that type of stuff. So
no, it's not every PS3 is backwards compatible.
That sucks.
It was only a certain model. That's why I stuck to Xbox 360. And the thing is, with the Xbox 360, the only reason I got the PS3 is because I got a great deal on it from a friend who didn't want it. He gave me the PS3, I think 2 controllers and 6 games for like $250.
That is not bad.
And in 2008, I was like, wow, that's not a bad deal.
Yeah, that was when the launch of the PS3.
The launch of the PS3, wasn't that like 2006?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, the games weren't too good. I mean, the best games were like Grand Theft Auto 4, Madden 10, and Blitz 2, the League. The rest was like Guitar Hero 3, Legends of Rock, Rock Band, The Beatles, and I think another
Brutal
Hero
Legend.
game.
Brutal Legend.
No, it definitely. I said another Guitar Hero game.
Well, Brutal Legend is a guitar game as well, but the only difference is that you use a guitar as like a weapon.
Isn't Brutal Legend a beat 'em up?
Something like that.
Yeah, I'm not talking about a game where you use a guitar as a weapon. I'm talking about. Oh my god.
It's still a guitar. You just gotta use the weapon. That's all. You know, I have my grandfather's.
I'm not gonna remember the sixth game, but the thing is, actually, the only game I still have left in that collection is Blitz 2: The League. Yeah. So next story to cover. Minecraft is an M-rated game in South Korea.
Oh man, that's stupid.
Yeah, I didn't expect something like this from North Korea, but South Korea?
Yeah, North Korea doesn't have shit. They don't have none. Either they have a gaming system in the country itself, and that's it. It's very limited, or they don't have nothing at all whatsoever for entertainment, other than what's on TV.
I heard in North Korea they have gaming cafes, but that's because if all they don't want consoles, they want all gaming to be online, so the government can control how much game time people are spending towards games.
Yes.
With consoles, you can't do that unless you visit everyone's house. And with all the people that live in North Korea, there's probably no way you could do it in one day.
Speaking of computer usage, I heard that Pyongyang in North Korea is the only town of all North Korea that's light up at nighttime. So basically, whoever is in that town is privileged enough to play online. But the rest of the nation, they're all in darkness at nighttime. They have no power, none whatsoever. It's fucking ridiculous. It's stupid.
Well, that I hate to say it, but it's kind of like what we're going through here in New York. Well, or you're going through in New York.
Yeah, we have power outages here and there.
With Cuomo thinking he's
the god of governments.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the god of the government of New York now.
Yeah, he's talk about the power going through his head.
Yes, the power of both electricity flowing through him and his throbbingness, whatever you want to call him, of his being. Something like that. But enough politics for a second. But
since this has to do with South Korea, Minecraft is mature rated. I don't even know many teens that play Minecraft.
I only play Minecraft when there's a group of people who are 18 and over, and play with other 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds. So it's kind of like a mixture of all ages to play together as a group. That's the only time I play it. But other than that, I don't play it by myself. I will never play it by myself.
It's just, and have you ever watched? I know I brought this up before. I don't know if on a podcast or not. Have you ever watched Dark Side of the Ring?
Dark Side of the Ring. I think I heard of that before. Is that a guy that cut off his hand with the deli slicer at the end of the movie?
No, that was the wrestler.
Oh, okay.
Dark Side of the Ring. They cover basically dark subjects about that happen in wrestling. The very first episode was about the Montreal Screwjob. And anyway, Chris Jericho joined as narrator for the second and third season. They're in a pause mode until September. They did one half of season 3.
Okay.
I just sent you on Discord. They actually, like, the third episode of season 3 was the Collision in North Korea event where WCW wrestlers and wrestlers from Japan went to do a show in North Korea.
What? That happened?
Huh?
That actually happened?
Yeah, that actually happened.
Kim Jong-un didn't shove a missile up anyone's ass of the wrestlers?
Actually, I'll spoil a little part of the episode. Scott Norton almost disappeared on that trip.
Scott Norton? You mean Scott Hall?
No, Scott Norton.
Who's that?
He was one of the members of the NWO.
Scott Norton? I heard of Horace Hogan, who was Hulk Hogan's cousin. But,
yeah.
No,
Scott Norton was like this big 300-pound guy that never got out of the mid-cards.
I never heard of him until now. I guess I saw him on TV when I was a kid, but that's about it. But I never heard of his name until now.
he was in the 2 WCW games on N64. WCW NWO World Tour and WCW NWO Revenge.
I do have the WCW N64 game Revenge, but I don't remember that particular character. I must have used too much of Goldberg and Raven a lot.
Yeah. Well, when you turn on Revenge, just go to the NWO section. NWO Hollywood. He'll be like somewhere in the middle.
Okay. I just haven't seen much of him, most likely.
Yes,
that's why.
They went to do it. Eric Bischoff agreed to do a trip in North Korea. And basically, Scott Norton was talking with his wife on the phone, and Scott Norton basically had some choice words. He's like, I don't want to say the word on Twitch.
A shitstorm.
Replace storm with hole.
Shithole.
Yeah, he goes, North Korea he says that, and then the phone went dead. So he thought his wife hung up on him because, his wife maybe thought he was just partying and not taking his wife, feelings of worrying about if he's okay or not, into effect. It turns out no. When he insulted North Korea, they shut off the phone, and a couple of officers came and got him.
How long did it take the officers to come after that phone call was disconnected?
Maybe less than a half hour.
God damn, there was someone watching him live over the phone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Holy shit.
And they said that it's punishable with jail time to insult the country.
That is why I would never go to North Korea, if and only if I was leader or leaders of my country, the United States, to negotiate with the North Korean leader or his comrades and henchmen. Stuff like that, just to promote peace. Because Trump did a good job doing that on his end. I mean, I may not like the guy, love the guy, but he prevented World War III for the time being until Joe Biden now comes along,
Now Joe Biden's got it on the fast track.
Yeah. He's like, fuck Korea.
But back to Dark Side of the Ring, Antonio Inoki, who is a Japanese wrestler, he and like a bunch of other Japanese wrestlers showed up and talked to the guards, and I don't know what was said, but they somehow got Scott Norton released.
Nice.
Scott Norton said if it wasn't for Antonio Inoki and the guys he showed up with, he'd probably still be over there.
Forever and ever.
Yeah. And because Antonio Inoki, even though he's a Japanese wrestler, he was also pursuing a political career.
Really?
So I guess in North Korea he had some pull.
He's like Pacquiao from boxing.
Yeah.
Not bad. So he wants to team up with North Korea?
On Discord, I sent you the link. A bunch of these episodes are on Daily Motion. That's how I watch them.
Okay, I'll watch them later.
I sent you the Collision North Korea episode.
Of course, I see it. I'll look at it later.
Yeah, it's 44, 45 minutes, but if you like wrestling, and they covered a bunch of subjects. They got the Chris Benoit story. They got Brian Pillman's story.
Pillman died from an overdose, right?
Yeah, but they got the whole story. They basically go through his whole career.
Okay, but
And
because if I recall correctly, there was a show called WWE Confidential, and they had shows like this on TV back like
they
15
did,
years ago.
but they didn't show anything that WWE didn't want shown.
Of course, they wanted to show the positive shit.
This is independent, so they can cover a lot more topics.
Of course, and make it look like a neutral standpoint, not a positive.
Right. I mean, they had the last one of the last stories, like 3 episodes before the last one, before they took their break, was about Jake the Snake Roberts.
Oh, he died like 2 years ago, right?
No, he's still alive. What are you talking about?
Wait, I thought. Oh, the Ultimate Warrior died in 2014. No,
Yeah,
never mind.
The Ultimate Warrior died 2014.
Okay. Jake the Snake. I thought he died.
No, he's still alive. He's a manager in All Elite Wrestling.
Oh wow, that's a big gulp, a big add-on for AEW.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't watch wrestling as I used to, my friend, because I'm not saying wrestling is stupid or wrestling is fake, whatever. It's just that, like when it comes to WWE wrestling specifically, that's where I grew up on the hardcore matches that I didn't see much in WCW because my mom was against me watching wrestling at nighttime, including Simpsons, South Park, Family Guy, all those shows. She didn't want me to watch any of this stuff, and I kind of sneak. If she's hearing this, I doubt it though. But if she's hearing this, I kind of sneaked every night, not every couple of nights a week to watch WCW. Not silently, but at very low volume, while she's over sleeping in her room.
Good thing she didn't come out for to get something to drink or something. And
I turn off the TV when she goes out to the hallway, and I turn it back on when she goes back into her room. One time she hit me not hit me like crazy, but she hit me a couple of times for watching it while I was punished for not watching TV. So she was very hard on me when I was young, but it's worth it though. She wants to concentrate on my studies. It was kind of strange though, because most guys, students, especially female students, wear a dime a dozen. It comes down to education. So whatever she's thinking of, I think she was delusional. In my respect to my mom, because her and I were not. I will admit this publicly, because obviously I might run for office one day. I might as well mention this now. We're not on speaking terms for the time being. But throughout most of my childhood, she was like a not Nazi, but she was like you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't watch wrestling. I was like, damn, something like that.
Yeah. Probably not to defend her, but I'm guessing, since we're looking at it through, our eyes now, not the teenagers' eyes, probably, it's kind of like the whole, oh, we do good in school, we'll go to college. We go to college, it's supposed to be a guaranteed of success, regardless what you choose. And that's not the way things work.
It was either a joke or only select few people will guarantee that. You have to have inside connections to these jobs or employers. Actually, you can't just be like someone from the outside.
The way our parents probably looked at it, at least the way I understood it, was, if we do well in school, maybe we'll get a scholarship to college. We get a scholarship to college, and we graduate with a degree in anything, we'll be able to find something regardless what that degree's in. No, that's not exactly true.
Of course.
The degree, A, has to be in something that can be used, and if you get a degree if you get a degree in school teaching, and you become a telemarketer, that degree's not going to be jack squat. That degree's got to be something that you can use and parlay into a career.
Mm-hmm. And what I'm doing right now is I'm attending an online university, a major in business. and thinking about doing another bachelor's, if not master's degree, sometime later this decade. And not marketing, but in game design, where it's like general oversight of game making. Because there's this university in Florida I want to attend. Not literally go to Florida, but the online itself, and they provide everything for you. It's the equipment and all, just like I'm going through right now. So hopefully everything goes well with this college. Get my degree from this college, become a consultant of my own firm or my own company or freelance of sorts. Like you do with your article writing. Just that the only difference that I'm on like verbally explaining or verbally interacting or on paper with what the company wants to do with their money and reasons. So
Yeah. Again, with the article writing, it's not so bad. It's so hard to find people that it's just so hard to find jobs sometimes. I'm lucky I got the one client that gives me a certain number of articles to work on every month. But like, as far as finding like new clients, even if I find them, it's like a one-time thing.
right,
It's really hard to find. It's really hard to find repeat clients.
definitely I understand.
But yeah, honestly, if I could do things over again from when I graduated, I said I probably wouldn't go to college again.
Wait, you graduated from NASA, or you?
No, I was like 6 credits short.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, and I didn't even have. And when I stopped going in January of 2010, I didn't even have enough money for like a phys ed credit, because every credit was like $173 in Nassau Community College, at least when I went.
So you could have
like,
asked for.
But the only classes that were one credit was like a phys ed class, like weight room training. I took dance because it was mostly a girls class. The class was 23 girls and 3 guys. That's why I took it.
That's paradise to me right there.
Well, like those classes were like half a credit or 1 credit. Like a normal math class that was like 3 credits. You want to know how much that cost? It was like $173 times 3.
God, so it's about $600 per credit.
No, it was 173 credits, 173 for a credit, but like a lot of classes like math and web design, which I took and stuff like that, were like 3 credits, 4.5 credits.
And you never took out any loans from through a FAFSA or?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
My friend told me not to.
And who's this friend? If I may ask,
it was a guy I've known since 3rd grade, and he said the loans you're gonna have to pay back, and you're gonna have to, and with the interest you're gonna pay back anywhere from 2 to 3 times what you borrowed.
That's the normalcy of any credit that you take out, whether it's student loans, credit card loans, car loans.
Yeah, but the thing is, I told him I was going for a liberal arts degree because, again, I was told that if I get a degree in anything, it'll help me. And he's like, dude, don't. He's like, don't. He says he had a friend who was going to be a dentist, but that guy took out $100,000 in student loans. He was gonna have to pay like $300,000 back after interest and everything. But if you're a dentist, you're going to be able to make that money back.
Of course.
If you're just got a liberal arts degree and you're hoping for the best, you don't want student loans hanging over your head. So I was like, all right, I'm not touching student loans then.
I did attend Nassau Community College back in 2006 of fall 2006 for a semester, because I got suspended from my first college from fighting. And before it happened, yeah.
You wouldn't hurt in high school. You wouldn't hurt anybody.
That's the thing, though. Once until someone antagonized me on a constant basis, and I tell on the teachers, like, hey, teachers, not teachers, the resident assistants, because I lived on dormitory. I told them, if this continues, all of us will be in a fight, and they're wondering why what happened. They know what happened. After that, and I made a written complaint throughout the processing of my punishment back in 2006 of spring, back in April of 2006. So since then, I tried to go back to school at the same college of Sullivan, but I didn't have the money for it because my mom couldn't help me, or she doesn't want to help me at the time. And that's fine because of the B's and C's I got from college, whatever. But she doesn't understand, though, that this is not like 1991 or wherever she come from back then in college. So that's why I kind of hate her about my mom, because that she doesn't understand.
What do you mean this isn't 1991? Elaborate.
Well, she thinks that I can take out a student loan by working hard, working a full-time job, and still go to school, where most jobs don't hire every single student out there looking for work, you know. And,
that's true.
And back in the 1990s, before Bill Clinton passed that Sallie Mae, Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae shit with the student loans and such, she was the last of the generation to get the better loan deal, or the better deals with her credits, her loans. So she got the best of the best after 1995, 96, when they passed that law with Bill Clinton. And since the 2000s, it's gotten worse and worse with the tuitions, the quality education. She doesn't understand what happened over the last 20 years back then, since she was in school or at college or whatever she was doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so I never took out a student loan. That's one thing I never had to worry about.
Went on a tangent from the Dark Side of the Ring to this.
Huh?
I said went on a tangent from Minecraft being immature to North Korea to Dark Side of the Ring, and now this
discussion.
Yes.
Hey, I only got like 6 or 7 subjects, so I always know like if I only have a few things to talk about, we're most likely going to be off into something that wasn't planned anyway.
Yes, indeed.
So
this is
yeah,
not
so
stage,
probably,
people.
So back to college, back to the college discussion. It's just, I always say, if you got, it's always like, what do you want? This is what people should do, and this is putting the political BS brainwashing aside. That some colleges do, because some college professors have their future. They have a future with 13 cats and nothing else. What I always think, people that are like-minded and thinking correctly and not brainwashed by schools today, what do you want to do? They should think 11th grade, 12th grade. What do you want to do with your life?
Right.
And then just based on that answer, based on that answer, then they should decide if they go to college. Do they want to be a lawyer? Okay, then they should go to college and then go to law school. Do they want to be but on the other hand, do they want to have their own selling business, like using selling platforms? If you want to be like a reseller, then maybe you shouldn't go to college. Maybe you should take that money you would spend on tuition and buy inventory.
Right.
Or have your own website created and spend that money that you would spend on tuition on, say, promotion to get your website out there, like Google ads and everything.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm saying. College is not right for everybody. This whole BS that's right for everybody's got to stop. It's basically like, okay, if you first decide what you want to do, and then ask yourself, is college going to help me get towards that? Like, if you want to be a doctor or a lawyer, yeah, you got to go to college. But if you're going to do something else, you got to ask yourself, is college going to help me with that? Or is it just something I'm going to be taking? Is it just going to be a distraction?
Oh, yeah.
And if it's just going to be a distraction, maybe college isn't the right step. I'm still saying you shouldn't be at home smoking pot all day. But
definitely. That's what's going on in today's world.
But you could still be at home, say after high school. Maybe you're working a part-time job to save some money together, so you can buy some inventory if you want to be a reseller. Maybe there are people on YouTube who buy like Amazon returns, and they basically sell whatever they basically sell whatever comes back in Amazon from Amazon customer returns.
Right.
So if you can set it, and so maybe you do that.
Okay.
Anyway, back to Minecraft now.
Yes, Minecraft.
Actually, I really don't have anything else to say about that.
I'm very surprised when I heard that for the first time that South Korea is making it a mature game. That means you might as well include like pop stars like Psy, the one with the Gundam style dance back in 2012. You might as well consider that to be like rated R or rated X or some shit like that.
Meanwhile, we got FIFA games with gambling in them rated E for everyone.
Yeah, or E for E10 and above at best.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's really surprising. I thought South Korea would be a lot more lenient. I would expect this rating to come from North Korea, but I guess every region rates their games differently.
Oh yeah.
All right, next subject. Assassin's Creed Infinity could be a live service.
Now this game Infinity, what is that a new game?
Yeah. It's the newest Assassin's Creed game coming out, but it could be live service like the Avengers.
Or Anthem.
Yeah.
So Valhalla was not good enough not to make an Infinity game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So how was that Valhalla game? Have you played it before?
No, the last Assassin's Creed game I played was either Syndicate or Odyssey, whichever came after.
Yeah, I only played Black Flag the most, and second Unity.
Well, I heard Unity sucked.
Yeah, it was horrible.
That's what my younger brother told me.
It was good in the beginning, but by the time you escape prison, now it's like, what's the point? Like, like you have to be on a run or something, but no, you still stay in the city.
And Black Flag, I played for 8 hours until I got stuck on that one mission. However, I did beat Rogue. I did beat Syndicate. Those are the only 2 games I've completed.
Speaking of Syndicate, is it true that they include a transgender character in that game?
No, you play as a brother-sister combo.
So some reporter, either a mainstream reporter or a game journalist, saying that in Syndicate they introduce a transgender character as in the main character of the game. I can barely hear you, Triple J.
Huh?
I can barely hear you. Repeat what you said.
Can you hear me right now?
Yes.
You play as a brother-sister team in Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
So who the hell says transgenderism in the game? What the hell is that about? They did the same thing with Last of Us Part 2, saying that Abby, if I recall her, and that's her character, the one that killed that guy, she's a transgender as well too.
Yeah, but I think you could thank Anita Sarkeesian for that.
I mean, and they had sex fucking with someone else. No, Abby and someone else. I don't know. I didn't see the entire sex scene because they censored it. The Joe show, but I was like, God damn.
Yeah, but no. Even at the end of the game of Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Evie, the woman, she falls in love with one of the guys that was helping you throughout your mission the whole time, throughout the whole game.
Okay. And
that guy had a crush on her, so. But the thing is, you could switch between the brother and the sister. It's just whoever I ended up playing as. Unless the mission required me to switch players, I didn't switch. I stayed the same character.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, if let's say that reporter's correct, it was transgender. Well, how are the brother and sister talking to each other in cutscenes then?
Well, the transgender woman basically can be originally a brother to the other brother. They're brothers all together, and they had a sex change. Back in those days, I don't know how that worked.
Yeah, explain how that works.
Yeah, back in the 1890s, that was a setting. I mean, they didn't have the technology to change genders physically with surgery and shit.
Really,
like
they
that.
don't even have the technology now. Nowadays it's just cosmetic.
Pretty much, yes. Bruce Jenner, he had a complex change where they use like a version of an ice cream scooper. It's like one of those type of scoops that changes anatomy of his down below. So, not to sound graphic.
I just researched this. The first sex change operation, transsexual patient, took place in the Netherlands in Amhem in 1959-1960. Assassin's Creed Syndicate takes place in the late 1800s.
Yeah.
So yeah, explain how.
If you look back, to those who are big gamers on Assassin's Creed, just YouTube search Assassin's Creed Syndicate transgenderism, and you'll see all these videos talk about, oh, the females are transgender this, oh, the females are transgender that, and it's like, god damn it.
Oh, those morons are wrong because.
And these are YouTubers.
I'm actually searching for it on Google right now.
These are sensible YouTubers. These are not like the SJWs that I don't follow. I barely follow SJWs on YouTube for news and shit, because they're not the mainstream. They're not part of the niche audience of any gaming group, whatever. They don't buy the games.
Okay, maybe. Are you sure they were talking about the main characters and not talking about a non-playable character?
The main character.
That's okay. Well, I Google searched what you told me, and this is what came up. Ned Weiner is a minor character in Assassin's Creed Syndicate and a London-based transgender businessman. His background as a transgender man doesn't really come up in game, aside from a look shared by Evie and Jacob Fry when they first meet up. Yeah, Evie and Jacob are the two characters that you play as. So it's not the main characters that were transgender. It's one of the people that you came across.
And that's why I hate misinformation online. I really do. I mean, I don't mind LGBT style theme type of stuff in games, but don't make it the number one concern in games.
Exactly. But back to Assassin's Creed Infinity being a live service. I guess thank you for killing my interest in another game franchise. I got stuck in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, so I'm not playing that anymore. But I'm really interested in trying Odyssey. I might still try Valhalla, depending on if I have the money and once I do more research on it.
Don't buy Valhalla, not yet. Wait until like next year for like Black Friday 2022.
Well, I wouldn't buy Valhalla yet anyway. I'd play Odyssey first.
Oh, okay.
Well, I have to buy Odyssey.
Because Valhalla, I mean, it looks epic at first, but there's no actual assassin theme behind that. It's just Vikings, and back then, I'm sure they have assassins back then. Don't get me wrong, but it wasn't a big thing with most Vikings. Vikings are direct fighters. They actually fight directly to the opponent. They don't like do masquerades and deception, espionage, and infiltration all that stuff. That's the ninja of the feudal Japan era.
Right.
Ninjutsu, which is a lost art. You know, oh sure you can still do ninjutsu, but it's not the exact ninjutsu from the 1600s, when gunpowder was invented and piracy and pirates were fucking taking over one part of this country and that part of that country, and feudal Japan had to go through that with those pirates. So that's where ninjutsu is used for that moment, or at the time of that matter. So.
Yeah. So okay. So I mean, like I said, before I play Valhalla, I would finish Odyssey because I played a lot of it during free-to-play weekend.
Nice.
But now that Infinity's going to be a live service, I'm expecting Assassin's Creed Infinity to fail. It's going to be the next Marvel's The Avengers. And
like
then
10 players.
Ubisoft will learn. Then maybe Ubisoft will learn. Well, maybe we should try that again.
No, they're gonna make it. They're gonna make. I heard of the trend where, within the next few years, every game will be a live service, and if you don't have the disc or the server shut down, you only have an empty disc and you can't play it offline or whatever. So that's the trend we're going through right now with Destiny, Anthem, Marvel's Avengers.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't think that's going to work out so well for game developers. Like I said, I think this is the podcast that you didn't show up for. Square Enix lost over $60 million on the Avengers.
God, yeah, so much money.
So it's kind of like, yeah, the last game that you made a live service created some pretty substantial losses. Why would we try that again? So, yeah, so if Infinity is a live service, hopefully it'll crash and burn, and then Ubisoft will think, maybe we should make Assassin's Creed games like we were making them before. You got anything to add to that?
I mean, I'm willing to buy Assassin's Creed Infinity, but I'm not a big Assassin's Creed fan. I play on occasions, like I did with Black Flag. So far with Black Flag, I'm only like 2% at most done with the game. And I've been having that game since 2014. That's how lack of interest I have with that game altogether. Even if Black Flag...
Games are not going to complete themselves. You have
I know.
To play them
I know. Even if Black Flag is the best Assassin's Creed so far, I still not interested in playing as much as Halo or or Street Fighter even. I'll play more Street Fighter and Tekken than more of Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, I like the story-based games, so that's why I liked Assassin's Creed. Especially in the later games. I'm not too big fan of the early games. Like, I was up to like Chapter 5 in Brotherhood, and then I had no idea where I was supposed to go to continue the game. And it's like, wait a minute, now, like it was no icons on the map, so I was like, wait a minute, where am I supposed to go now that I finished this mission? I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't find a walkthrough explaining it, so I gave up on Brotherhood. I still have like the original Assassin's Creed on my Xbox One from Games with Gold.
Okay. Speaking of fighting games that I mentioned just before you mentioned, with Assassin's Creed, there's now stories in Tekken 7 now. Specifically, Tekken 7 has a story where you fight as a Haji or other characters throughout the story, and at the end of the story, you go up against Akuma, who somehow, some way, is like has some relations with Heihachi's wife. So Heihachi's wife made a deal with Akuma to fight Heihachi and Kazuya, excuse me. So that it was a very story-driven game if you play the story mode, that is. But other than that,
Tekken 6 had a story mode also.
It wasn't as in depth.
The only problem is all the voiceovers were in Japanese, and the subtitles were so hard to read unless you sat like right in front of your TV.
Yeah, the one with Lars as the main character of the story mode, it was all right. I still played up to its third level, So I was having a hard time to beat the gun jacks. You know,
I'm willing to give Tekken 6 another chance since I got it for free, but
same here.
I'm also could care less because like I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be bored by the story.
Yes.
But like maybe if I'm streaming it, I'll be able to see the subtitles much easier.
I have Soul Calibur 4 and Tekken 6 as part of a double pack for about like $15 at GameStop back in 2013. So that was a good deal. And I transferred the licenses to get a digital copy of each of them. So hopefully I can download Soul Calibur 4 and Tekken 6 I already have on my Xbox. So
What was the big deal about Soul Calibur 4? Like that they put Darth Vader in it?
they had Darth Vader for PS3 and Yoda for Xbox 360.
Okay, because I remember I played Soul Calibur 4. I played Soul, but like I got to Soul. I remember the story mode like Soul Calibur 5, and there was like a huge story going on. I got like I did the story mode for like 2 hours, and I don't remember anything but the story mode.
I see.
And then Soul Calibur 6, I think, did the same thing. Yeah, they had their own story, but they broke it up character by character, which, like when you played, say you played as Sophia, when she and Siegfried met up, you play the same part when you played Siegfried's story and Sophia's story, but then you would find out what happened when they left, and it's just, not fair to Soul Calibur 6.
Yeah. Hey, James, can you hold on for a second? I have to use the restroom. You can still talk if you can.
All right. So Tekken 6, I might do it. I mean, I got the game for free. That's the only reason I'm planning to give it another chance. I just don't know how much I should play it since I'd probably hate it again, like I did the first time I played it. Tekken 5, Tekken 5 I don't even have, so I couldn't play it again, even if I wanted to, but I would never want to play Tekken 5 again. I think I got Tekken Tag Tournament 2 on my Xbox One as well. I got a bunch of games. When you look at like all the games with gold and all the games, and all the like games I purchased and the games that I downloaded every month, it's just I got a ton of them.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Okay, it's all right. I was just explaining how I also have a bunch of games that I never played, but some of them I don't want to play, like Tekken 6. The only reason I'm going to play is because I have it for free.
Okay.
I also got Tekken Tag Tournament 2, I think.
Interesting.
And I also have the first Tekken Tag on PS3. I forgot about that game.
The first Tekken Tag for PS2?
Yep, they called it Tekken Hybrid for PS3. It's basically a remastered version of Tekken Tag Tournament on PS2.
All right.
But that's on PS3, so.
Right.
But it's a digital game I have, so, even when the server shut down, I'll still be able to play the arcade mode and stuff.
Right.
All right, moving on. Now we can talk about Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yay! Wait, is there something we're supposed to talk about with Legend of Zelda first?
Let me check. That's coming up next.
Okay.
So yeah, you're not excited about Guardians of the Galaxy, another video game?
Oh, I mean, I never really got too involved in the Marvel and DC comic universe, even if it's movie versions. I mean, I like the movie versions that come out because they're mainstream to the point that anyone can watch it and have a good time with it. But it's only a separate story of its own. So that's the movie version. Now with the video game version, it depends on what game you're referring to. Like the Ultimate Alliance that we played together a couple of times, It was all right. Not the biggest game, not the best game in the world, but with practice, we could beat that lady in Times Square, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 or 2, I think it was. So that's that. Those are 2 games I can tolerate, but that Avengers shit that was released last year, obviously that was a flop. Then obviously
Right.
now they have to now to make it or break it for Marvel again, for the creator of Square Enix or the publisher, and they have to make sure that this is a good single player game. What I heard, so
Well, the article you sent me, they said that it's gonna be a single player game. It's not gonna be live action, so it's not gonna be like the Avengers. Um, and I played the one. I'm surprised Square Enix had the license because last I heard, Telltale Games had the license because they created their own Guardians of the Galaxy game, and that was fun to play.
mm-hmm.
It ended on a cliffhanger. Then the original Telltale Games went out of business, and then when Telltale Games came back, I figured they still had their license with Guardians of the Galaxy. Apparently not. But since this is a single-player game, you play as Star-Lord like you did in the other Guardians of the Galaxy game,
Yeah.
and I'm willing to give it a chance. It's actually one game I'm willing to give a chance right away.
I see.
Will I be able to afford it at the end of October? Maybe not. Maybe I will have to read reviews first. But
Well, it sounds
definitely
good. I read the preview of it in the Game Informer magazine of this month's edition, and I read the first page or two, and it says that you get to do time traveling and meet this guy called himself Vance Astro or Astro Vance, and he's like one of those buddies that they rely on throughout the game. So hopefully, it sounds like a good decent action adventure game to play on.
yeah. Hopefully they're following the same thing Telltale Games did. I did realize Drax and Gamora look different than they did in the Telltale game.
Right.
But since it's going to be single player, since you're still going to be controlling Star-Lord, it looks good. I just, it piqued my interest when most video games usually don't.
Right.
This one has. You got anything else to say?
No, not at the moment for the time being. I do want to say this though, that this game it's going to be a make it or break it, because they already made a mess with the Marvel games for the past several times. Well, not games specifically, but after Endgame, since Endgame, the movies are not as, or even the TV shows especially, are not as affluent or not as interesting as it used to be. Loki looks like a watchable series to watch as a TV series of sorts. But other than that, games, they still maintain in some sort of relativity, a relativity of sorts.
Okay, so I mean, only time will tell. It's too early to say whether it'll be good or bad, but from everything we've read, it looks like it's going down a better path than the Avengers did.
Yes.
And and I'm just wondering if they're going to pick up where the Telltale game left off, because Telltale's Guardians of the Galaxy left off on a cliffhanger.
Really?
Yeah. The Gamora's father was evil, and like in the first chapter, you kill him to basically save the world.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the Telltale game, you saw his body, someone picking up his body and transporting it somewhere.
Okay.
And that was the cliffhanger. Who took his body? Why are they taking? This guy who tried to rule the world. Why? Who took his body? What are they using it for?
Right.
And maybe I don't know. Maybe Square Enix could continue that story. Maybe. I mean, I'm not holding my breath on that.
Maybe they're doing it for. Maybe they're doing it for this Guardians of the Galaxy game coming out in October.
Yeah, maybe they had plans to connect the dots.
Mm-hmm.
But whether or not it's just a standalone game or it's going to be connected to what Telltale did, I'm interested. Next, Zelda. A sealed copy of Zelda sold for $870,000.
Yeah, that's crazy.
This is from the first variant that came out in 1986. The next variant came out in 1988. So this is kind of like a first edition Legend of Zelda for Nintendo.
From 30 years ago.
Even more than 30 years ago, actually, 35.
Oh shit, yeah, because 1986. So right now, if it comes out right now, it's 35 years ago. Wow, that's old. That's old as me.
I just would love to know, who are these people paying all this money for video games like this?
You want to know the inside scoop behind that shit about those auctions? I heard it was an inside job. Basically, they inflate the numbers between their own members of their audition group. So let's say, for example, there's two guys of the audition group. They walk in saying that I want to buy Zelda for whatever the starting price is. So they go back and forth. They say I want to buy it for $500,000. Then the next guy says $600,000. Back and forth. So how many times later it says $870,000 to one of them, and they win it, and then they cash in on the fame, the fortune, the coverage of the auction, and then they just do it all over again constantly. That's what I heard.
But do you have any evidence to back that up?
Well, it's not evidence. It's been rumored for years.
Okay, so in other words, no.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, like how many people are legitimately buying these products? So if you backtrack to their taxes, their logs of who bought the thing, you can tell there's an insider, like actually a member of the same person selling the game, but to themselves, in a sense. Now it sounds like it's all speculation, but it's been going on for years.
All right, because we're going to talk about the Super Mario 64 next story next also. But the thing is, to cash in on the fame and everything, it just sounds like a big gamble.
Yep.
To cash in on the fame and everything. I mean, keep in mind, this is a first edition. Like I said, this is a first edition game. It came out back in '86. But the thing is, just having two people, bid over it. It's not collusion. It could be two people having money in their pocket that want to spend something they think will be valuable.
Mm-hmm.
So just because two people were bidding each other up, that's not collusion. That's how a normal auction works.
Right.
So yeah. But I mean, man, I'd love to know who these people are. Maybe I could get some business from them if they still got some money left over.
I doubt it.
None of
It's a scam, most
but
likely.
you can play them.
It's most likely a scam, from what I heard. Like there's no evidence to point out in obvious terms, but with all the patterns going on with buying and selling these games over the years, that's what people have reported, whether they're gamers, game journalists, even YouTubers like you and I. So.
Right, but like I said, I'd rather not assume unless I had some evidence to back it up.
Well, that's what speculation. Well, there's also going to be rumors of certain unusual, too good to be true scenarios.
Okay, well, talking about the Super Mario 64 one, since it's related to this, Super Mario 64, graded and sealed and sold for $1.5 million, and a slightly less conditioned copy sold for $13,000.
You know what I mean? Like the speculation.
Yeah, but like I said, I'm not going to say this was definitely a scam unless I had something proving that.
I mean, how many gamers do you know have like $1 million, $2 million in their pocket easily to buy a game. They can just like get like thousands of copies and sell it, for emulation to us.
Well, the thing is, grading process is actually pretty expensive, so you wouldn't grade something unless you knew it was worth a lot of money already.
Right.
But the thing is, I'm saying, maybe people like in gated communities, or people who, have like multi-million-dollar houses. Is it really that impossible to think there's maybe two people in all the gated communities in the world? There were at least two people who were interested in spending whatever. Does it look suspect? Absolutely, especially when the less conditioned copy sold for $13,000. Is it out of the realm of possibilities? I wouldn't say so.
Like you gotta be like an absolute fool to buy it for $2 million for one game, knowing they can get an emulation of it
that you can't even play. But maybe they're looking at it like an investment. Like, ooh, I paid $1.5 million for this. Maybe in 30 years it'll be worth $5 million.
Good idea. That's obviously that's what auctions do. It's like it's a collector's edition of sorts. So.
Right. So again, is it suspect? Does it not sound right? Yeah, but I'm I just am against calling it something when I don't have the proof to say whether it's collusion or not.
Oh yeah.
All right. So moving on. Tencent mobile games will require underage gamers to pass a facial recognition check if underage gamers try to play mobile games between 10 p.m. and 8 a.m.
And that's Big Brother right there.
Yeah, but the thing is, isn't Tencent games developer, isn't that like a Chinese developer?
Yes, it is. They're from China, most likely Hong Kong.
Okay, so so China, like I said, China, North Korea, they try to limit how much people can play games. That's why they don't like game consoles. They rather have game cafes.
I mean, even consoles like Xbox One now, you can time your usage. Like you can actually time it for the kids, saying that okay, kids, that's almost 5 minutes until your Xbox shuts down for the night. It's something like that almost, except for it's not in parents' hands, it's in the government's hands. That's very scary right there.
Yeah, I mean, the government overstepping their bounds.
I mean, I don't mind government overseeing societies for their problems or how to prevent certain crimes and such, but that doesn't mean they get to play mommy and daddy all the time, every time for certain things. Because you can't tell people what to do all the time. Otherwise, people will flip out and just like, fuck you, I'm going to do my own way,
Your name is John Cena.
Where did that come from?
Well, I don't know if you heard the story, but I'll tell it. John Cena was having like an interview or something, and he referred to Taiwan as a country.
Oh, okay. I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah. For people who didn't hear about this, the China got upset that he referred to Taiwan as a country, although it officially is a country. And Cena did an apology video where he apologized in Chinese.
Yeah, in Chinese.
Yeah, and he groveled in Chinese in an apology video. Well, we know John Cena's true color is yellow.
You can't say me, Ching-chong.
Actually, did you hear the story, this part of the story that when this story broke, CM Punk put in his profile, Taiwan is a country?
Really?
Yeah.
CM Punk will be crucified by the Chinese.
Well, he doesn't care because, he's living his life in the States.
Well, what if he wants to visit China, visit the culture and shit, and all of a sudden, one day when he's in the airport at one of the international airports in China, they'll be like, "Is that CM Punk? Jay Chong, get that fucker, crucify him!" Yeah. And CM Punk's like, "No."
I guess he knows not to go to China. First off, who would want to go to China?
I want to go to China one day and see their culture, but at this rate, they're too strict. They're too strict. I remember 20 years ago, I heard China was the best place to go to for tourism. But now since COVID-19, we're seeing their true colors. I heard toilet paper is rationed out if you had public bathrooms. So they have a machine where you go to the bathroom beforehand. Before you go to the bathroom, you go to the machine and get toilet paper. It's not even much. It's just like maybe almost a foot long. And that's it. And you have to wait every 10 minutes for new toilet paper. It's fucking ridiculous.
Wow. Yeah, so I mean that's communism. That's what these idiots going to college think is such a utopia.
I want communism because I want Americans still drinking my Starbucks latte at 10 a.m. in the morning.
I like on Facebook. It said, "Can we trade all the Cuban immigrants who want capitalism and trade all the people who want communism here and just send them to Cuba?"
Yeah, that's a good idea.
We'll trade the Cubans who want to come here for the people who want communism to go there.
The kids be like, I hate communism now. Fidel Castro sucks. Che Guevara is a betrayal.
It's the thing. Game developers should not be parenting the kids. And I don't know. And the thing is also, you think about underage gamers, so maybe 18-year-olds. It's when you're 16 and 18, you really don't look that different.
Not too much, yeah, definitely.
Especially in the face. So you could, if you're 16, someone could believe you're 18 or vice versa. So I don't know even how well this facial recognition thing is going to work.
And I was surprised too that they barricaded firewall the internet from the inside out. Like, I don't know how they did it, but they did it. And it's like, anything coming into China or coming out especially, good luck.
Yeah. Well, that's the way it is when you're dealing with different types of governments. And the last story that we have for tonight, multiple indie developers claiming working for Sony is harder than working for Microsoft and Nintendo. Did you hear about this?
Didn't know Sony was that bad.
Yeah, independent developers basically saying when they created a game for Sony, they didn't have say their game wasn't selling. Basically, Sony had to give them permission to sell the game for a reduced price or whatever. And a lot of times when they had to try to get in touch with Sony wasn't available.
Yeah, that sucks.
But Microsoft and Nintendo, it's like two different worlds when you compare them. How Microsoft and Nintendo are doing business and how Sony's doing business. So apparently Sony is being a lot less developer friendly. Do you have anything to say about this?
Well, I never really heard too much about it. I wondered to myself if Sony's trying to save money from its hemorrhaging, because ever since when PS3 came out, for their company, they started to go downhill in revenue. So I guess they're trying to make up for all the mishaps, all the quirks, all the downfalls, fallen, I guess you can say, and trying to be cheap with the indie developers now. So this look good for Sony. I'm surprised the PS5. I'm surprised the PS5 hasn't. Because what I found out with the PS5 is that Sony wants to make sure that you are exclusively getting external hard drives exclusive to the PS5, not through no third party. That's ridiculous. What's the point of having a PS5 if I cannot add more storage to it externally? Or why not make it 2 terabyte at least?
Well, listen to this. This is from Protocol.com. They reported on the story. Sony's console business is by most accounts firing on all cylinders, with record revenue and strong sales of the PS5 helping it maintain its industry lead. But the company's reputation among small developers isn't as strong as its platform success, and missteps with its approach to cross-generation software is starting to take a toll on player goodwill. Sony faced a wave of criticism on social media last week. I gotta check the date. It started with a widely shared Twitter thread from IN Gamer, in which the indie developer, using the thinly veiled code phrase "Platform X," derided the company's lack of support for small game makers. This is some of what they said. Platform X is super successful and awesome hardware, but their back end and process is straight out of the early 2000s. I have no idea how to succeed on this platform, and they won't tell me. Even if I do succeed, they may screw me anyway. This thread was echoed by numerous others on Twitter. Those were followed by a string of reports featuring yet more voices from the indie community, further criticizing Sony for putting too much focus on big budget games and for its lack of transparency and communication. Sony's relationship with indies has ebbed and flowed. While Xbox became an early indie haven during the 360, Sony made up for lost time during the late PS3 and early PS4 years by helping usher in a golden age for indie games on PlayStation. Sony secured rights to breakout hits like Rocket League, Campo, Santos Firewatch, No Man's Sky, and The Witness, just to name a few. The financial support and visibility Sony brought to such games helped establish the company as a lifeline for small game makers desperate for better marketing and discoverability, though it remains unclear why the wins at PlayStation changed in the last few years as Sony began gearing up for the PS5. The company now relies far more heavily on major first-party studio hits at the expense of the hidden gems, now more at home on the Nintendo Switch and PC. Sony did not respond to requests for comment.
Interesting.
Yes, and this goes on more, but basically, so basically, it's hell to do business with Sony if you're an indie developer.
I see.
And I think that's wrong because, we talk about games of gold. Yeah, a lot of the games that I enjoyed were games that were first party, but there were also good games that were third party, like Oxenfree for one. I don't know if Life is Strange was a third party game, but if so, that was good, although I went out and purchased those games.
Right.
Speedrunners was a fun racing game that was pick up and play. So, it's like, just because, first-party games are probably where you're going to make, like, most of your money, but that doesn't mean that the third-party games can't play a part in making your system successful.
Right.
And I honestly think releasing the PS4 and Xbox One base models were a mistake. I think they should have waited until they had the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One S. Those consoles should have been the base model.
I see.
And people say, well, PS3 and Xbox 360 were out for so long. I'm like, so? You release a system that's not much more powerful, and you're expecting people to pay top dollar for it.
And scalpers are selling it like it's nothing. Like it's okay to sell it for $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 per console.
Yeah. So I mean, but scalpers aside, because the scalpers and everything, you really can't. It's really hard to distinguish between customer and scalper.
Okay.
But the thing is, what I'm saying is, when these systems came out, they should have just had the advanced systems come out, and they should but but you also hardware is nothing if you don't have good software.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, so anything else you want to cover before we wind things up?
I wanted to say something about my project I want to do personally myself. I'm thinking of doing like a series of sorts called War Antics, where I show random war related footage, like World War II, Vietnam War, uh, maybe pictures of the war in 1812, etc., etc., called the War Antics series. And I play music in the background, random music from anime remixes, like Big Wave or Android 52. So anticipate for me to do that within the next couple of weeks or so. So the first one should be coming out the end of this month, a little earlier. So
Okay.
yeah.
Speaking of projects, myself, I'm reviewing games again for my Patreon. Although these reviews are going to be Patreon exclusive for the $5 and $10 levels. I just reviewed The Punisher earlier this week. I do plan to review another game maybe this weekend. But yeah, so if you check my Patreon and you subscribe at the $5 or $10 a month level, in addition to podcast episodes, which is available for all tiers, you also get the reviews that I'm going to be doing again.
Okay.
But the thing is, to promote these reviews, I also upload a trailer, so the trailer's free for everyone to see, and then it has a link to my Patreon if you want to see it. Also, I think we should do what we did with the last podcast, split it up into parts and release different parts for free on different days. Each clip got about 50 views, give or take, on my BitChute profile, on my BitChute channel.
Okay.
Some did over 50, some did like in the low 40s. Like the Nemesis Dead by Daylight clip is the one that did the worst. But that still got like 40 views.
I see that your subscriber count hasn't changed much over the last year or so that I'm observing. Like, I understand that, you don't focus too much on BitChute as much as me. Because gradually I get in, like, views, not only views, but also subscribers, like, once every 2 weeks. So you should get the same thing as well if you focus more on BitChute and provide, like, better quality content. Which is kind of strange, though, because you already have, like, the outline, the layout of the video and stuff like that handled. So I guess not many people are not into lower quality like you and I. Because let's face it, we can't afford those $1,000 programs or equipment that's like fucking not too expensive, but it's expensive enough in our wallets to buy. Because you have to be like a very not wealthy, but you have to be like mediocrely like making $25,000, $30,000 a year just to pay for good stuff. In my perspective, that is. So.
Right. It's just hard. I wish. I've really been focusing on Twitch mostly. That's because like when I play a game on stream, I don't upload the stream. It stays on Twitch for 2 weeks, and then I let it disappear.
Yeah.
I just feel like people, if they really wanted to watch the stream, they would go to Twitch to watch it. Because anyone can watch a broadcast. But yeah, I've been trying to upload this stuff to I've been uploading this stuff to BitChute. It's been a lot. It's been easy finding the thumbnails and everything. It's just, I don't know. I guess I don't know. I mean, I want to continue doing it the way we did with this podcast. Although the way we switch subjects, it's pretty much, it might be a little harder, but
yes, definitely.
But anyway, um, yeah, it's just I'm trying. I wish something would take off, whether it be BitChute, Patreon, Twitch. I don't need all of them to take off. I just wish one would take off.
Right.
But I also think BitChute subscription system. If it was more like YouTube's, where you could just actually no, that doesn't make sense. If you could maybe, I don't know. I think still something like BitChute's subscription system. Maybe that's making it less appealing to subscribers.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's nothing I can do about that. BitChute's a young website. It's going to take, YouTube wasn't optimal prime for people in its first few years.
Oh yeah, the first 5 years of YouTube were the best for average users who know how to use the internet, because even though not everyone heard of YouTube at first or don't know how to use YouTube, people know how to log on to the system after the first year, and they watch whatever they want to watch from like low quality camera footage, and it's good. Some of it is funny, some of it is a shocker, some of it is offensive, and you just move on. But now all of a sudden in today's world, you got all this censorship to the point that people don't want to hear the truth of anything. Fear of politics.
Yeah.
Fear of politics. That's all of politics and history. They don't want to hear like, oh, the sky is blue, or 9/11 is controversial to some people out there and stuff like that. They want to say it's an inside job. These conspiracy theorists, which I want one of those people. I still believe in 9/11 is an inside job, but who cares about that in today's world? No one doesn't even know about 9/11. Anyone under the age of 20 years old, and if they do, and they did hear about it under 20 years old through their parents or their brothers and sisters. That's about it. And they have to look at live coverage on the YouTube or some other parts of the internet to see what happened on that day.
Right. Well, YouTube, I think what I'm saying is, I think YouTube had its peak like in 2011, 2012.
Okay.
And I'm saying YouTube didn't hit that peak in its first year or first 2 years. It took a few years for people to discover YouTube and for it to get its peak. I think BitChute, it needs that time itself. Who knows how BitChute's going to be in the next 3 to 5 years.
Oh, definitely. They got better with their upload speed as well, BitChute.
I mean, they got better with their comment system. Now comments stay regardless how long before
the big change.
Before first you had to comment like in the first 30 days if you wanted to comment on a video. Now you can comment whenever you want.
Definitely. Problem though is that the past videos have to start over from scratch with the commenting system. Because now the past comments you saw, some are memorable. They'll post like the actual YouTube videos, and you'll see the actual full coverage or the full overlay of the video, preview it, stuff like that. Then you can't do that anymore. Now you're supposed to link and hope to goodness people will click on it without no previews.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, this is the end of episode number 25 of the Let's Discuss Gaming podcast. Our next episode will be number 26 on July 31st at 9 p.m. Eastern. Subscribe, follow me on Twitch so you know where I'll be streaming, whether it's a podcast or gameplay. It's also and follow me on Patreon, patreon.com/rapperjjj. If you pledge, I got perks for $1 a month, $5 a month, and $10 a month. Higher tiers also get everything included in the lower tiers. And our next podcast will be 2 weeks at 9 p.m. Dr. Games 101. Anything you want to add?
You can follow me on bitchute.com/Dr. Games 101. YouTube, the same thing with Dr. Games 101 with the letter A at the end. And I'll look out for that War Antics series. Hopefully, it can last for up to 15 numbers. I hope, because I'll still plan ahead in my mind like what to put first, and then later on, little by little, if it gets popular or whatever. Because it will definitely do well on BitChute, but not on YouTube. So YouTube will be like the last place to think of for popularity. But you know people like BitChute now, or people beginning to like it more than usual. So that's a good thing. So look out for that for us on BitChute as well.
Okay, so this was the Let's Discuss Gaming podcast. Hopefully, see you next time on Twitch. Good night, everyone.
Good night.